영어 회화 level 3 Power English.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Cho.
And I'm Cameron Word.
And happy weekend to everyone.
Saturday.
Yahoo!
Celebrate.
Oh, celebrate. Oh, that's a Madonna song.
Yeah. Holiday is it originally, I think?
Holiday.
Yeah.
Holiday. Weekend is a holiday.
Yes.
Yeah. Any plans for the weekend?
Just being outside, taking care of my plants.
Oh, are your plants now going outside?
Yes, now that we are officially in spring.
Yes.
It is a little warmer. The problem was the night temperatures. When it gets cold at night,
right.
You get a little worried about your plants. But we don't have to worry about that so much.
Oh my goodness. So the jungle is going outside.
It's an outside jungle now.
All right. We've got an article for you. Every Saturday we have an article about something interesting. Today we are talking about tea.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know you drink coffee. You love coffee. But Cameron, do you also drink tea?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Oh, what kind of tea?
So I like a good Earl Grey, Lady Grey. I
you
also
like the Greys.
Prince of Wales.
I
tea
love
is really
Prince
good.
of Wales. Yes, the black tea, like kind of the English tea.
Or even like a good Darjeeling. I think I drink a lot more black tea.
Black tea.
Not so much green tea.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, so I love tea. Okay. And most green, black, but I do love a good black tea.
Yeah.
However, Cameron, for some reason, I cannot drink Earl Grey or Lady Grey.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good in my stomach.
Is it the bergamot oil?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, when I drink Earl Grey, I have an upset stomach.
Huh.
Isn't that strange?
But like English breakfast, Irish breakfast?
No problem.
No problem.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
So you learned something about Kristen today.
All right. No
Okay.
Earl Grey, no Lady Grey.
No Earl Grey. Okay. All right. The title of today's article is Don't Quit Tea, Just Tea Bags. So basically what it's saying is that don't use tea bags.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, it's probably because of microplastics.
Yeah.
We'll find out more details. Here are some expressions that we're going to cover today. If you think twice.
This means to really consider. Don't think lightly about it. Really think about your choices before you make them.
Okay. And how about raise the alarm?
This is kind of a warning. Hey, be careful, be careful.
Yes.
Raise the alarm.
All right. And if you are exposed to something, E-X-P-O-S-E-D, exposed.
This means that you have come into contact with. It has touched your skin. It is some way gotten close to you.
Right. And oftentimes if you're exposed to it, it's probably a chemical. Or I guess you could be exposed to sun rays too as well, your skin.
Yeah, there are a few different things that we can use for this.
All right, let's go ahead and listen to the article.
If you love tea, you might want to start brewing only loose-leaf tea and think twice about using tea bags. UK scientists recently raised the alarm over tea bags after testing various types of plastic mesh bags for how much microplastics they release. After testing 3 common types, they found that after being exposed to boiling water, the bags released up to 8 billion microplastic particles into the cup. The intestines will absorb much of this plastic and never release it. However, you don't need to stop drinking tea to avoid microplastics. Just boil it in a teapot or use a metal tea infuser instead.
Okay, don't quit tea. Means keep drinking tea, but not use the tea bags. Let's begin. You can find the article on page 152 in our Power English book. If you love tea, you might want to start brewing only loose leaf tea and think twice about using tea bags. Okay, already we have our power pattern for today. If you love, something, you might want to something.
Yes.
What is this pattern?
So this is often seen on the internet when someone is giving you a recommendation.
Okay.
So first, they're grabbing your attention
Okay.
with something you like. If you love tea, if you love basketball, if you love knitting.
Knitting, yeah.
All of these things.
If you love plants.
Right. It's drawing your attention
Okay.
if you like that thing. Then they are going to give you advice. Here, it's saying you might want to start brewing your own.
Okay. So when someone says you might want to, so the might is kind of saying a bit of a suggestion. How strong, how light is that?
Yeah, it is kind of light. It might be a little polite.
Yeah.
In this particular case, they are going to introduce some dangers, some health problems with using tea bags, right? But we as people, as individuals, we get to choose what we do.
Right.
Right? So they cannot say, if you love tea, you must
do this.
do this. That's too strong. And we have the freedom to do what we want. So they say it much more lightly. You might want to stop using tea bags.
Right. And then when you hear the rest of the information, you realize they're actually strongly recommending it.
Yeah.
Okay? So think twice about using tea bags. So think twice.
So think twice means to really consider. And the feeling is almost like you have never thought about it. To be honest, I mean, in recent years, I've started to think about this. But when I would drink tea in the past, I didn't think about the material of the tea bag.
Not at all. You thought about what kind of tea you were drinking.
Just thinking of the flavor.
Yeah, that's all.
And the caffeine.
And the quality.
And the caffeine.
And the caffeine. Yes.
Yeah. But now to think twice about something is maybe something you used to do without thinking. Now you are going to really consider it and say, should I do this or should I not do this?
Right. You make a very good point. You don't necessarily, it's not that you did already think about it, but you really should now think about it.
Right.
So it's a little confusing. Think twice. Okay. So you really should think about seriously using tea bags. And why?
UK scientists recently raised the alarm over tea bags after testing various types of plastic mesh bags for how much microplastics they release.
So this has been in the news a lot, and I'm sure our listeners have probably heard this news, but discussing this in English may be helpful. So if someone, especially scientists, professionals, raise the alarm about something, what are they doing?
Here the alarm is much like a siren. Right?
Or my son has the real, the
yes.
I'm like, would you stop? That scares me. I feel like it's from a government alarm, you know?
Yeah. So raising the alarm is a warning about something. And it might seem a little dramatic because you're like, it's tea bags, guys.
Yeah.
It's just a very small thing.
Yeah.
But we do use this expression to talk about any material, any item that we have that may cause health problems.
Yes. And in this case, these mesh bags, and I'm sure everybody knows most of the tea bags that people use when they're outside, especially, they get them in mesh bags.
Yes.
They are releasing a lot of microplastics.
Yeah.
Miceplastic.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. After 3 common types, they found that after being exposed to boiling water, the bags released up to 8 billion microplastic particles into the cup. Okay. So, you put hot water, and then you put the tea bag, and then what kind of exposure do you get?
So you get 8 billion microplastic particles of exposure. But here the word exposed to means to come into contact with or to be affected by.
Okay.
So here, as long as the mesh bag that they have is just in the air at normal temperatures.
Right.
It is not exposed to hot water. It's not touching that water. It's not in that water. But as soon as that bag goes in, we can say it is exposed to the hot boiling water.
Yeah. So boiling water and plastic is one of the worst combinations.
Yeah.
In any situation.
I used to think, thinking about it, when I was a child, my mom, when she would make tea, like a big 2-3 liters of tea.
You put a tea bag in there.
Well,
several.
She would boil the tea and then put it into a plastic pitcher.
Yes.
Thinking about that now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know of anyone really who would do that now.
Oh, I've seen restaurants do it. Yeah. They use the plastic, scoop, plastic is all around us.
Yes,
but
it is.
here, we don't think about tea bags, right? And they release not just like a couple million, but 8 billion microplastic particles. Okay. So let's continue.
The intestines will absorb much of this plastic and never release it. So once it's inside you,
you cannot detox.
Never get rid of it.
However, you don't need to stop drinking tea to avoid microplastics. Just boil it in a teapot or use a metal tea infuser instead. So, bottom line is loose tea leaves.
Yeah, not in the bag.
Not in the bag.
Just the type you have to scoop out with a spoon.
That's right. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
If you love tea, you might want to start brewing only loose-leaf tea and think twice about using tea bags. UK scientists recently raised the alarm over tea bags after testing various types of plastic mesh bags for how much microplastics they release. After testing 3 common types, they found that after being exposed to boiling water, the bags release up to 8 billion microplastic particles into the cup. The intestines will absorb much of this plastic and never release it. However, you don't need to stop drinking tea to avoid microplastics. Just boil it in a teapot or use a metal tea infuser instead.
It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 154 and 55. So, think twice can mean to reconsider. You've thought about it, but really think about it again. But it can also mean, like, you didn't think about this before, but you should start thinking about it. Okay, Mike told me about this new startup that needs funding.
You should think twice before investing in a risky venture.
So you should think very carefully.
Yes.
Yeah, before you invest.
Maybe they did think one time. They heard the idea and said, oh, that's great. Let's do it.
Right.
This person is saying, reconsider.
Yes. He didn't think twice about helping his friend move, even though it was inconvenient. Yeah. Oh, when you say you didn't think twice, what are you really saying?
So this could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Okay.
Here, though, it is a good thing. It's kind of the feeling of, we're friends. So I don't need to think, oh, will my schedule work?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tired.
Right.
If you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it.
It's immediate yes.
Yeah. And it's because you're a friend.
Right.
Didn't think twice. Just did it.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes it is good. Sometimes it's bad. He didn't think twice whenever he made that investment.
Yeah.
And he lost all his money.
That's right. Or, you hear about these phishing scams. And it just like you don't think twice about, and you just send all your information.
Yeah.
So to think twice, I didn't think twice about something in the positive context is basically like it was immediate.
Yes.
I didn't even have to think about it.
Right.
Okay. So, but of course, whenever you're making an important decision, you do need to think twice.
Yeah.
I think it's true.
I mean, yeah, I think oftentimes like your first instinct, the first thing you think is correct.
Right.
But you have to go through the process of that second reconsideration to really be confident in that choice.
Right. I had to really work on that, Cameron, because I'm a P. So like I'm more emotional. I'm more, you know, the MBTI.
Oh, I was saying P. I was saying 원두콩. Like you're what?
원두콩. Okay. Yeah. I have the brain of a 원두콩.
No,
seriously.
Okay.
So it's very instinctive and like very, but sometimes, and I feel as you get older, you realize the value of thinking twice before you make any decision.
Yeah.
I really think that's important. Okay, raise the alarm means to warn others about a problem or a danger. Who called the fire department?
The neighbors raised the alarm when they saw smoke coming from the house.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Yeah.
Right? The scientists raised the alarm about the potential environmental impact of the project. You know, scientists, environmentalists, raised the alarm about global warming decades ago.
Yeah.
They did.
So it's if we don't always listen, but raising the alarm is when someone says, hey, this bad thing is happening. We need to do something.
Right.
You often hear this in maybe a political or business setting.
In what way?
So maybe there is some secret plans or actions that are happening that are not good. Someone may come out and raise the alarm. Hey, there's a scandal. Hey, they're doing something illegal. Right?
Yes.
These type of people trying to point to illegal actions that a business, a government,
yeah, it's a very brave
organization.
thing to do, right? That's a very brave thing to do, to raise the alarm, because basically you're going to fight against the big guys.
Yeah. And you might lose.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you are exposed to something, especially things that are like chemicals or mold, it's definitely, you come into contact with them.
Yeah. It's not always a bad thing that we're talking about, though, like in our first example.
All right. Why do you take your kids to so many different countries?
Children should be exposed to different cultures to develop an open mind.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, one blessing for me, I feel, is that by living in Los Angeles is a very multicultural city. So I was exposed to all kinds of people, like friends from different parts of the world.
Yeah, and different ways of living. Yeah.
Cultures.
Really opens the mind.
That's right. The workers were exposed to hazardous chemicals during the cleanup.
So this is not a good thing.
No, not a good thing if you're exposed to chemicals. Okay, if you is our power pattern, blah, 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 you might want to. So first, grab your attention and then offer some advice. If you love science fiction, you might want to read the latest R.K. Jones novel.
Yeah, so sci-fi lovers, giving advice to them. If you love rock climbing, you might want to visit Bosnia.
Yeah, here's my suggestion. Okay, very good. So our power vocab today is microplastic. I'm sure you all know what this word is, but there's a nice definition there. So do check that out on page 156. And what else should our listeners do?
Don't think twice. Go to Audio Hakdang, and for a small monthly fee, you can be exposed to so much good English content.
What? You used 2 new phrases?
I did.
Wow, Cameron. Bravo. Good job. All right. Good job, everyone. Thank you so much for studying with us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.